So you've been applying for tech jobs left and right. You've been slanging that resume so much you done forgot what jobs you done applied for. Trust me, it's happened to me before. And then you finally your day comes, you get that phone call or you get that email from a company that you applied for, and they would like to set up an interview. Cool, right? Well, it's game time now. So how you gonna prepare for your interview? Grab a seat because today's episode we're talking about getting ready for your technical interview. So don't forget to click like, subscribe, and that notification bell. Welcome to Debt Free in IT. I'm your host, Mike. This podcast is for anyone who's trying to get into the IT industry. Whether you're just curious or you're looking for a career change, you've come to the right place. So the first tip in preparing for your interview is knowing what to expect. So going into an interview, there will usually be 2 or 3 phases before a decision is made. Let's look at the first phase. So this phase is what I like to call the make sure you're not crazy phase. And make sure you're a decent individual phase. So this may come from a phone interview, usually done by someone in HR, like a recruiter. This may also be the person who emailed you to set up the interview. They may be performing this first phase of the interview or the phone call phase. So just making sure that you fit the position. And if you didn't fit the position, or if they didn't think you fit the position, you probably wouldn't be on the call, or you probably wouldn't have made it that far. So if you're in this phase right now, congratulations. At least the HR recruiter or the HR manager thinks that you fit the role. So before going into this interview, you will want to do some sort of research on the company you're interviewing with. You want to you want to be genuinely interested in the company and the position. So you would also want to let them know that you did your homework and that you're interested in adding value to the company. Some examples of this may be naming something that you like about the company, or something that you saw in the news that's positive about the company. Another tip could be check the company's website and look at their about section to give you more insight on the company. It always looks good if you are able to ask the interviewer questions about the company and let them know that you are genuinely interested in adding value to that company. During this phase, you may get asked questions like name a time when you had to work under pressure, or name a time when you had to complete a task and you didn't want to complete it, and how did you handle it? So these questions, they're pretty much wanting to see how you act under pressure and if you're able to keep calm or did you crack. So if they ask you that type of question and you say, oh, I had to work with this disgruntled user that made me mad, I cussed them out and told them to get out my face. Your interview will probably end quick. So don't say that answer. So your answer for this can be pretty much based off your previous work experience. If you didn't really, if you're not in IT, then you can just base it off whatever previous jobs you had. Pretty much, you just need to show that you're able to handle a variety of situations. And hopefully, you've made it this far and you're on to the next phase. Welcome to phase 2. Have you ever played football in high school or college? Stay with me. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. So if you ever played football in high school or college, do you remember in practice where you had this drill where the team would form a circle, one person would get in the middle, and then the coach would blow his whistle, and the person in the middle didn't know who was to try to tackle him from the middle. And as the coach blew the whistle, they pretty much the drill is to get you used to being hit without knowing who's hitting you. So why do I tell this story? The second phase of your interview is like what I like to call the bull in the ring. So that's the name of the drill we used to do in football practice. I didn't play long, but I do remember that bull in the ring drill. So this second phase kind of reminds me of the bull in the ring. So in this phase, this is where you're going to get those technical questions. So if you're going for any type of technical role, be prepared for some technical questions. And in today's world, it's pretty much more about how you work with a team than how much you are technically qualified. If you're not a team player, it don't matter what you know, it's going to be hard to get the gig. So please be a team player. And like I said, it depends a lot now on how you work with a team. So being a team player is an A plus in my book. So pretty much this interview may be on site or with the recent with COVID and everything, it's most likely may be online also, depending on the company, because most companies, especially if you're going for a role like a network engineer or something like that, then most of the time your team is working from home. So, educated guess, it's probably going to be online. But back in the days before COVID, this was done in person. So, this is where you're going to get a chance to meet the team that you'll be working with if you get hired. So, in this interview, the team and the manager is pretty much going to take turns asking you technical questions to see how much you really know and if you're actually just, do you actually know it or are you just talking fluff? Or you just been talking fluff to get to this point? So this interview may last an hour, uh, may last longer if it's usually if it lasts longer, that may be a good sign that things are going well. Now, if you go in and you're finished in 3 to 4 minutes, I wouldn't expect a call back. Just saying, you may not get a call back from that one. So usually with these interviews, the longer it's going to be the best. To prepare for this interview, I would go over any technical questions you may have to practice with. If you recently passed your Cisco CCNA, I would just start reviewing the same questions that you studied to pass that Cisco CCNA. I would start going over those questions just to make sure I'm familiar with those topics. And also, I would start going over any kind of labs. And also, if you watched any of my previous videos on getting a certification or anything of that nature, I would also practice subnetting if I'm going for a network position. So whatever role you're going for, you want to look over that role. One tip could be the job description. So you can look over the job description and kind of see the what it's asking for the qualifications or what it would like someone to have, and kind of if you're familiar with any of those topics, then I would go over those and before I get in the interview, and just be prepared to answer a lot of technical questions. So at the end of the day, you want to be ready for whatever they throw at you. So whatever technical question they throw at you, you want to be ready for it. So if you make it past this phase, the next phase in most possibilities should be a phone call letting you know that you got the job or that you didn't get the job, or if you knocked it out the park, you should be getting hired if there was no competition. But like I said, but if it's a hard decision, and let's say they've narrowed it down to 2 to 3 people during this interview, then you may get a third call back to go to the third phase. So if this happens, you may just be interviewing with the hiring manager this time, or you could be going in interviewing with the team again, and you may be getting harder questions than what you asked before, or they may be going in deeper detail this time. Usually, one of the two, either the hiring manager or you going back to the ring again, bull in the ring. So the purpose of this is simply to see who is the best fit. So they want to see, they've narrowed it down to 3 people. Now they're trying to decide which of these 3 is the best fit. All 3 of them may be qualified. Then they may start looking more into your personality. Which one of these people do we think is going to chime in well with the team we already have? So which one of these people we think is going to add value to the team we already have? So after they see which one of you out of the 3 that they may be interviewing, which one adds more value, then usually that person will get the hiring call. And then maybe if you didn't get that hiring call, then you may just be in luck, because what may happen is if the person that got the hiring call, if they somehow have gotten another job, then you may be their second choice if you wasn't their first, and then you get the hiring call. If you're going through this phase of the interview process right now, drop 100 in the comments and good luck, my friend. That brings me to the end of this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. I try to reply to all. If you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section also. See you next episode. Peace.